Hello, my name is Jane Holstead and I'm the subject leader for maths here at Irlam Primary School. It's my job to ensure that we are teaching maths in the very best way that we can to ensure that every child has the opportunity to reach their full potential. As you know, our school vision is to be outstanding in all areas, and therefore I ensure that the children are given the opportunity to become outstanding mathematicians. But what does an outstanding mathematician look like? Previously, people have talked about good mathematicians being those who are able to mentally calculate rapidly, or perhaps those pupils who were so good at maths that they could complete a whole page of work and eventually move on to a higher year group's work. Now, here at Irlam Primary, we take a slightly broader view of what an outstanding mathematician is. Our focus now is not on creating human calculators, although of course we do still want children to have rapid recall of number bonds, times tables and related division facts, depending on the year group, and we do want them to be able to calculate both mentally and in written form. But more importantly, we want them to become mathematical thinkers and problem solvers. Reasoning and problem solving is a theme that runs through all of our teaching of maths, from early years through to year 6. We want the children to have a thorough understanding of the numbers and concepts they're working with and discussing, and to be able to apply their knowledge to real-life mathematical problems and situations that we all deal with on an everyday basis. Whether that's calculating the change at a shopping visit, or whether it's designing a garden using knowledge of area and perimeter, or simply knowing how to tell the time and read timetables to allow the planning of a bus and train journey. We want the children to have the skills to be able to deal with all of these challenges. To ensure that every child is given the opportunity to achieve their very best, we use a teaching for mastery approach across the school. This approach is based on the firm belief that every child can succeed in maths. The National Centre for Excellence in Teaching Maths, the NCETM, suggests mastering maths means pupils of all ages acquiring a deep, long-term, secure and adaptable understanding of the subject. The phrase teaching for mastery describes the elements of classroom practice and school organisation that combine to give pupils the best chances of mastering maths. Achieving mastery means acquiring a solid enough understanding of the maths that's been taught to enable pupils to move on to more advanced material. Teaching for mastery is underpinned by 5 big ideas, namely coherence, representations and structure, mathematical thinking, variation and fluency. Coherence is planned for in lessons because the lessons are broken down into more small connected steps that gradually expose the concept fully, allowing the children to understand it step by step and giving them the ability to apply the concept to a range of contexts. We use a range of representations and structures to help the children understand the concept being taught. In the first instance, children will be given concrete objects to manipulate before at a later date being shown only pictures of objects, and only when they fully understand these representations will the children be asked to work in the abstract, i.e. with just numbers and symbols. This is called a concrete pictorial abstract approach. For example, when we ask children to calculate 3 add 2, a child will first of all be given a selection of items such as conkers, buttons, cars, etc., so that they can physically count out 3 cars, then 2 more, and finally count how many they have altogether. At the next stage, they'll be given a picture of 3 items and another picture of 2 items to be able to calculate the total, before being presented with the formal written equation of 3 add 2 equals. Maths is not a spectator sport, and children can't simply observe maths passively. In lessons, they're encouraged to think mathematically. They're encouraged to investigate, discuss, and demonstrate their ideas. The opportunity to reason about mathematical problems and discuss them with their peers is present in most, if not all, lessons. The quick and efficient recall of facts and procedures is developed and made automatic through our daily basic skills work. Being fluent in key areas reduces the demands on working memory, giving children the opportunity to focus on the more challenging aspects of their work. Teachers build variation into their lessons by introducing progressive challenges and encouraging children to investigate what has been kept the same and what has changed. Building on what they already know about the elements of the question or procedure that have been kept the same allows the children to focus on the elements that have changed and reason about how this will affect their work and ultimately their answer. What does maths look like in the classroom on a daily basis? Well, in early years, our teachers use the revised early years statutory framework to guide their planning for learning opportunities. During their time in early years, children are provided with lots of opportunities to learn through play and exploration. Through actively learning and observing, they have the chance to learn mathematical concepts. A set of balance scales, for example, allows children to freely explore what happens when they put more toy cars in the pan on one side of the scale than on the other. And given time, it allows them to investigate and reason about how to balance the scales. Children are also exposed to a rich mathematical vocabulary appropriate for their age, and they learn action songs to help develop their number recall, such as 5 little ducks went swimming one day. Children also explore shape and space and position through their everyday play, jumping off logs, moving over or behind things, and learning to place toys next to each other. Sand and water trays also allow children to explore position whilst introducing the beginnings of their work on measurement. Through years 1 to 6, children will generally participate in a maths lesson every day. The lesson will start with the recap of some basic skills, which will be appropriate for the child's age, but may include number bonds, times tables, facts, exercises to ensure that the children can tell the time, particularly using the analog clock. There'll also be a chance to recap on work completed previously, keeping all the ideas, procedures and concepts that they've learnt fresh in their mind. The remainder of the lesson will focus on the new teaching concept. Teachers plan their daily lessons around a scheme of learning from White Rose Maths. A yearly overview has been prepared for each year group, allowing for structured progression in skills and knowledge across the whole school. Each block of learning is then split into smaller steps, and these 4 smaller steps form a coherent learning journey for the children. You can see here how the recap steps have been built into the planning to ensure that children have the opportunity to revisit underpinning skills and knowledge before progressing on to new learning for that year. Teachers will work through these small steps with their classes, ensuring that the 5 big ideas that underpin teaching for mastery are intertwined into their teaching. Teachers model the specific use of accurate mathematical vocabulary, and they encourage the children to use this during their discussions and responses. Individual teachers will make judgments based on the progress of their own class and adjust this planning accordingly. It may mean that additional resources are used beyond those provided by White Rose Math, or simply that teachers work at a faster or slower pace, depending on the needs of their particular class at the time. One of the things I'm particularly proud about with regard to maths at Irlam Primary School is our ability to make maths learning fun. We also try to make maths as relevant to the children as we possibly can. A good example of this is our annual maths number day. The children have the opportunity to dress up in anything to do with maths, and we spend all day undertaking maths investigations, activities, and generally enjoying maths. We combine this with a sponsored event to raise money in support of the NSPCC and our school funds. It's a wonderful chance for us to support others less fortunate than ourselves, treat others as we want to be treated, and support other people while enjoying our learning here in school. We're proud of our pupils at Irlam Primary School, and I'm delighted that we have a whole group of maths ambassadors, children in each year group that talk to me about their experience of learning maths. We take their pupil voice seriously and would use it to improve our teaching and learning of maths at any opportunity. These are some comments following a recent interview with pupils. I feel excited when it's time for maths because I get to learn new things. I'm proud of my work on column addition. I can put the numbers in the right columns and get the right answers. I like sharing my ideas in maths lessons. I can talk to my friends or teacher about them. I'm always delighted to hear what our pupils have to say about their maths learning. As parents, it's a wonderful opportunity for you to work in conjunction with us in school by helping your child with maths. Here are a couple of ideas. First of all, be a positive role model for maths. Don't claim things like I was rubbish at maths when I was at school, because we firmly believe that every child can be good at maths with self-confidence and support. Encourage your maths to demonstrate their understanding in a variety of ways. For example, asking them to explain their thinking out loud, drawing a picture, or building a physical model to demonstrate what they've learned. Praise children for their effort, explanations, and perseverance in problem solving, rather than simply forgetting the answer right. Build confidence by discussing mistakes as valuable learning opportunities. Only when we make a mistake do we have the chance to learn. Make maths relevant to your lives. So, for instance, when you're driving to school in the morning, ask the children how many cars do they think they'll pass? How many cars do they think they'll see parked up? How long do they think it will take to get to school? Relate it to your journey in your day. A big ask would be to encourage your children to wear an analog watch. It's the only piece of jewellery allowed according to our school dress code. Things have changed very much nowadays, and people use the 24-hour digital clock so often, and children are not getting the exposure to an analogue clock that they used to do. So encouraging children to use an analogue clock, wear an analogue watch in school is really, really helpful. Practice times tables and related division facts regularly, building up that fluency and rapid recall of key facts. And finally, look for opportunities to enjoy maths in the environment. Something as simple as the picture frame here can be used for so many teaching opportunities. For instance, this picture can be used for a discussion about parallel and perpendicular lines. However, you could also consider that to be an array showing 3 lots of 4 panes. And that would lead to a conversation about 3 lots of 4 being 12, 4 lots of 3 being 12, and of course 12 divided into 3 groups being 4, 12 divided into 4 groups being 3. Conversations that can develop simply by looking at a window frame. I do hope that that information has given you an overview of maths here at Irlam Primary School. However, if you do have any further queries or want to contact me, please feel free to do so. You can email me at janeholstead@salford.gov.uk or leave a message at the school office on 0161 775 2015 and I'll get back to you. Thank you.